Good luck.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Game Addicts Podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. As always, I'm your host, Brando. Joining with me today is this podcast player too, Mike.
Oh, hello.
Hello, indeed. How's it going?
Great.
You are
As
doing...
I look in front of me.
Yes, you have quite the big pickup, as we always like to do pickups at the beginning of the show. However, I'm going to take the wheels of the ship, and we're going to go over here for a second.
Okay.
Because...
Right turn.
Yeah. Because there's something we got to talk about.
All right, what do we got to talk about?
Well, okay. As this episode airs, just this week, if you're just finding this podcast for the first time, or if you haven't been here since the beginning of the show, this show started as a spin-off or a added show to the Journey into Comics podcast channel. Basically, over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we were looking at maybe just dividing some interest and creating some new shows and putting them on the channel. And the original thought is that we were going to use like the YouTube, and
Right.
have the YouTube be like, this is where you're going to find the side channels plus the main show. And it's really difficult to get a YouTube channel going when you have like zero visual at the time,
Right.
because we weren't doing camera or anything. And then we would put up episodes of this show on the main Journey to Comics feed sometimes, just to kind of attract some attention, say, hey, come over here, this is where we are. In January, this show left the Journey to Comics feed.
Yes.
We decided it's time to graduate. It's time to...
Hello?
What? What is that?
It's the water.
Oh, it's water?
Yeah.
Oh! He was over here messing with something. I thought it was like a... It almost sounded like one of those...
Well, he's got a chew toy that he's got a...
Well, yeah, he's messing with something, but like you know how like you have those like really eerie like tune boxes, like music boxes, and where it's moving, it's like I'm like,
yeah.
Is this like Silent Hill or something?
I thought you were talking about the water flow.
No.
No, that's just him chewing on his bone.
No, it is now. All right, so this show left the main Journey to Comics feed just to go on its own feed, and it's been that way since January of 2017, and we've done like 20 something episodes, maybe 30 since then.
Right.
Now, this past Monday, we launched the Journey to Comics Network.
Right.
Of course, I host that show with Nate. What we were doing is basically we're doing the same thing we were doing, but branding it as such, as a network, and then bringing in more shows. Like we are going to be, of course, launching with, we have the Journey to Comics podcast. That's not changing.
Right.
Okay? You have Foodies and Watching Movies, which started around the time as this show. You have Journey to Wrestling, which started literally the same time as this show.
Right.
Then you have a new show from Nate. He has this new idea for a show that he wants to do, and it's called the Voice of Survival Podcast. And then we are going to be hosting Podcastrophe, which is a show that was originally conceptualized a couple of years ago, but is now finally coming to fruition with Dick Tyner Blaine hosting that. So we have those shows coming out, right?
Lots of content.
Yeah, all those shows we're going to try and find. We're going to, obviously try and find a release schedule for all of these shows.
Right.
That way, like the main Journey to Comics shows every week, and then some of these other shows maybe bi-weekly or whatever. So we also have some other shows in development still that we're not ready to talk about yet. And then once we have more information on that, well, everyone else will know. So what does that mean for Game Addicts? Game Addicts will not be on that still. Okay? So don't worry about that. You're still going to have the Journey to Comics Network with all these awesome shows. And we're not going to move Game Addicts back over because we have gone so far. We're not going to move all these shows over to this feed. And I mean, granted, it would save us a little bit of pocket change, but I've decided to not do that. We will only move back over off of and really anybody who subscribed to us wouldn't even tell. The only way that we're going to do that is when we grow the network enough to build our own website, to have multiple live RSS feeds.
Right.
And we would move the show from our current host to there.
Right.
So literally, what does that mean? Nothing.
Nothing for us.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. The only thing that we're going to do is that at the beginning of the show, instead of just the normal start of the show, right before our intro, there's going to be a bug saying that, well, since I'm producing it and I produce everything else,
Right.
this podcast is a Journey into Comics network production.
Right.
And we may allude to it. We may try to promote it. And also, we're going to, for the network, we're going to do maybe some promos before and after the shows where we do like a little commercial, like a 30-second commercial. So maybe after our show, maybe we'll air one of those to just, hey, come over here, check out this, you know.
Right.
So that's the only thing that's going to change over here. Over there, it's going to be a lot of new and awesome, cool stuff that continues to grow. I'm super excited about it. Literally this week alone, I've probably talked more to Nate than I have probably in like months.
Right.
We have been like literally, and not just us shooting the shit. I mean, us actually talking business.
Right.
Having business calls. What is this shit? Like,
you're in this. It's a new mode.
Well, because we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work, and even then, you know, it's like when we start get going, I want to have like have basically conference calls with everybody who's making a show or who is producing for us. You know, maybe once a month or once a couple months, just sit down, have a talk. Where's everybody at? How's everybody liking it? Does anybody have any questions? And of course, any sort of changes that happens with the network. That's what we talk about.
What can we improve on?
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
So, and also launching with the network is the Patreon for Journey into Comics.
Yeah.
No, we don't have a Patreon here at Game Addicts, not yet. That is something that we've thought about doing in the future. But
once we start doing streaming and
that kind of stuff
like that,
yes,
we would potentially put that up.
Potentially.
As of right
now, you know, I've never done this to make money. I've done this because I wanted to. I got into this. I got into doing podcasting, talking about video games and other things, and all things nerd on Journey into Comics because I wanted to podcast. I've always wanted to podcast.
Right.
And Nate, ironically, beat me to the punch and then gave me an outlet for that. And then basically he's like, hey, here, I've got this ball. It's kind of cool, isn't it? And I'm just like, divot. And I ran.
Mine.
I ran with it. And, you know, it literally, and he'll tell you, it's my passion for this that has really fueled the growth of Journey into Comics. He has done so much for that show. And he gives me so much props for it, too. And, like, I try to be humble and say, like, nah, dude, it's not just me. And it isn't. But I have worked so hard on that show and this show to make it what it is and try to get it out there and for enough people. So we are not doing anything as far as like the Patreon thing goes. Game Addicts is not going to be involved with that either. The only thing that may happen is that we may do some crossovers at some point.
Right.
Because we are going to be doing some exclusive podcasts for the Patreon, for the patrons and that kind of stuff. So stuff that doesn't air on the live feed, we may be doing crossovers. Like, and we don't know exactly all that what all that entails. Some of the stuff is still in development and still you know, kind of inner workings. But like things like we've done in the past, like maybe, you know, holiday bullshit, where we've done the card games,
right.
Things where we can get multiple people from the podcast together, you know, in one room, and Game Addicts will be represented. So basically, we're going to be plugging the network. We might plug the Patreon as well, and on the other turn, the network stuff is going to plug this show.
Right.
And that's literally the only thing but I wanted to bring it out, and I wanted to let our listeners and viewers know. Because in case they watch both or listen to both, and there's a little bit of confusion, like why isn't Game Addicts involved with that? Well, that's just because we decided to launch the network after we decided to move this show off.
And we have a lot more that we're gonna do with streaming and game and capture game capture with commentary and stuff like that.
That wouldn't change. Like, say for example, if we did not move this show off of the JIC platform. You know, say if we did not move Game Addicts off of there and it just stayed there and we didn't take this to another RSS feed and our own thing, that wouldn't have changed.
Right.
None of that would have changed.
Well, I'm saying that.
And we would have been a part of this. Our show would be a notch
too
in there.
much to move at this point.
Well, for like 20 shows to move that over to our feed just to say, here's 20 new shows on our feed. Go enjoy all this back content. There's no organization for it.
Right.
So therefore, you subscribe to Game Addicts on your favorite podcast service. Subscribe to the Journey into Comics Network on your favorite podcast service, and you get everything.
Yep.
So for that long ramble,
yes.
Thank you guys for joining us for this episode this week. We have some pickups. I'm gonna go first.
Yes.
I only got one. I brought two games. I brought a game to talk about later. But just today, I went to the Replay of Disc, our good friends, and I went in there, and buddy, I am doing so good with myself. Because they have stuff in there that I want.
Right.
And I tell myself I don't need it, or I tell myself, why am I buying this? I, in a way, feel like a recovering addict of purchasing, like a purchasing addict, or like collecting addict, where it's like, I must have everything. until I saw this, and I just had to have it.
Yeah, I
And-
was on the phone with you during this.
Dude, yeah, because we got off work early today, really early.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to get food and come home, and I said, I'm going by Disc Replay.
Just because.
And I went in there. I was doing really good. In fact, when I found this is on my second tour of everything. Because I went through, I looked at my main things, looked at the side things. When I mean main things, the first, I have a few sections to look at first,
Always.
and then I go through in descending order. This was on my second go through, and nothing against collecting Xbox. I like it, but I don't check it first anymore, or I don't even check it second or third. It's usually sort of on my last go around.
Yeah, as you're going through, yep.
I kind of checked this section out, and I picked up Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. Now, interesting about this is the first console Fallout game. Released on the Xbox. This is before Bethesda acquired Fallout.
Yes.
So Fallout was still being developed. I don't know if Interplay was the original owners of Fallout, but they are definitely ones that developed this. Different, because the early Fallout games were not first-person shooters. They were more PC, mouse and click, and you were like up high.
Right, your dungeon crawler.
A little bit kind of like that. This is kind of like that, mixed with like a run and gun shooter. It's multiple player. I still haven't played it. I didn't have time to do it today.
Right.
But really happy to find this because I really haven't seen this in person.
I never
And
have.
it was cheap. It was only like $8.
It's not bad.
Because when it was marked at $8.99, it was less $1. So yeah, I was very happy to pick this up. No manual. It's still got the plastic from whoever owned it. You know what? Sometimes when I get these, I don't even rip it off, especially like the old PlayStation ones.
Yeah.
I kind of leave them on there. They're a piece of history.
So you know what I used to do to mine? When I would open my original PlayStation games up,
Yeah.
you know the cellophane, and then they sometimes had the sticky that went over the edge?
Yeah.
I would undo the CD case and then pull it over. So instead of opening it like a normal person would, I would open the bag over so that I could peel it off 100% without getting... Because, you know, some of those would stick and they cut. And then you'd have to sit there with a little razor blade and cut them
Or your
off. And then
fingernail.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I'd flip them over and pull them off. Just because.
Okay, so you had a couple big pickups this week.
Yes, I'm going to actually start with one that I believe is one of my better pickups just because of how hard it is to find.
Well, it's your smallest pickup.
It's my smallest pickup. So I acquired before 2 Wavebirds in a bundle that I bought.
That GameCube bundle.
That I bought. And she only gave me one GameCube Wavebird receiver. So, me doing what I do, I check that Facebook app.
The marketplace?
All the time. And this popped up for $1. And I thought, and it was in town, and I thought, you know, if it's $1, I just wasted $1. That's okay. I can live with that. But if it works, I saved $30.
Yeah.
And I got it. It had a little bit of water damage to it. It had a little bit of rust on it, and I was a little weary.
Where at?
It doesn't now. I cleaned it off.
Oh, so it was like on the...
Right at the base.
Okay.
So right...
Okay, I can kind of see where it was.
I was a little wary. I plugged it in, turned it on, switched everything over, worked. Every button worked.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
It's a little rough,
but
it works.
Now, I want to say we mentioned in that episode that people who find these and have these, they know people need them.
Yep. And they go for as much.
Yeah, almost as much. I got, if you're going to buy a Wavebird, please try and make sure you have both the controller and the receiver.
Yes, because now, if you look online, people are selling the Wavebird controllers for $20-$30. Then they'll sell the receivers for $20-$30.
Oh, yeah, man, they're going to make a buck.
So, and if you get them together at like Disc Replay, I think we spent $30. I think I spent $30 on my first bird.
I bought mine on eBay, on the eBay app. I don't eBay.
No, yeah.
But for downloading the eBay app, I got a $10 off coupon.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I going to use this on? And the original one I was going to get that green Halo edition Xbox.
Yeah.
And I lost out on it because they pulled it off because it didn't meet how much they wanted to get for it.
Right.
I was so angry about that because I would have had it. But then I found the Wavebird, and I got $10 off of the Wavebird, so I got the Wavebird for free shipping from Florida for $20.
It's pretty decent.
Hi, Zook.
So
hey, kitty.
That was my first pickup. That happened almost literally right after the podcast.
Last week, yeah.
Last week. Today as we shoot, I got an amazing deal.
I'll say you did.
I did not think that this was real. So she put it up, and it is a Xbox 360 bundle. Now, what I got is a Xbox 360 Elite with a 250 gigabyte hard drive.
Now, this is the first Slim.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, the first Slim.
Because it is the you have the original big boy model, the one with the really big
this
hard
is the
drive.
360S console.
And then
So it's not the Elite.
Yes, well, okay.
It's like the first.
Well, because versions of these came as 4 gigabyte models, and they were the arcade versions, and all the other ones were just higher gigabyte models. So I guess you could by proxy call it Elite, but basically you got a black color 250 Slim console. I like how your cat is just like climbing on the back.
Yeah, he wants to be part of the podcast.
Now my Star Wars one is the same model as this.
Right.
They did release one model after this that it looks more like a small Xbox One.
Right.
But those were the very last. They were like the Slim E or whatever it is.
Right.
And so those are the last versions of it. But you got this with the box.
So I'm gonna move some stuff aside here because there's a lot. All right, we're gonna open this right here because I've only briefly looked inside. So my understanding of what she explained to me, she got this as a bundle with the Kinect. She also gave me the Kinect in the box. Barely used. None of this has been used very much because it looks brand new. So we're gonna jump in right here. Pull this console out. We're gonna move the box down here. Move some stuff around. All right. So look at the condition of it.
Yeah, it's a little dusty, but
I mean lightly
not much.
Lightly dusted. But look, do you see any dust content on the fans covers at all? None.
No.
Not a single. Not a scratch. Nothing.
See, part of me wonders when this was actually like produced and what year it came out.
What is that?
Well, just general curiosity. Like there's no real reason, but whenever I buy consoles used, I'm like, I wonder how old this really is. You know?
Would the box state?
The box probably would not state because this model was released, but maybe. Oh wait, here we go. Boom! I found it. It's right here. I found a manufacture date.
Really?
December 7th, 2012. So this is a 5-year-old console. She got this in a bundle, you say?
That's what she stated, because she gave me 2 games with it, and she said it came with the bundle. I've never seen it with the bundle.
Of course, here's the 250 gigabyte hard drive, much smaller and more portable.
Yes.
Part of me wants to just find like a 4 gigabyte version of this. And because I don't want to use my Star Wars one anymore, I kind of want to keep it nice and not play it as much and just swap out the hard drive.
You can.
I could, but I just haven't done it.
They're not too expensive if the replayer disc.
No, they are not. They are not. I want to say like a 4 gigabyte one would be like
maybe
80 bucks maybe.
How much?
80 bucks.
80 bucks? Oh, a model. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay. When I thought you wanted to pull the when you stated was pull the hard drive out, I thought you were going to get a hard drive and then get a small hard drive.
No. I'm going to take, I would get one of these,
okay,
just a plain black one, and I would just swap the hard drive out of my Star Wars one into this one.
I would tell you to check the marketplace on Facebook. There are some other ones on there for $50 that are just the system. The reason why I got this one is because it came with system, Kinect, 18 games. So we're going to go through this 18 game list here.
You got 2 controllers. These are these are the original style controllers.
Yes.
These are not the controllers that have the rotatable D-pad.
But I will be picking.
Did you put batteries in this?
No, that's why it came.
So now, something I also do, if this happens, I always look at see when these batteries expire. That's
Why?
a habit. I don't know.
Why would you do
Dude,
just because you want to see actually how...
Well, because that'll, like, how soon they expire and how expired they are tells you how much they played it, and it tells you, you know, how much it's used. Because, I mean, this... Look at the wear and tear here on the sticks. There's not much. There's a few scratches over here.
Right.
But like if you have somebody who plays a lot of shooters and plays the crap out of the
There's
Xbox,
niches in the...
well, like the sticks are like they have the 4 little like rubber notches there, and these sticks get wore down like you would not believe.
So, picking this up, it's been a long time since I picked up an Xbox 360 controller.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is heavy.
It is.
Compared
it's
to
that battery pack, because if you take the battery pack off,
yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll be picking up the rechargeable, you know, the jazz for us gamers. We gotta have our collectors. I don't like using batteries.
I don't either.
One of the things.
The new Xbox One controller still uses AA batteries, right?
Yes.
Okay, so with those, the battery pack sticks out of the controller, and it was almost kind of like reloading your ammo when you ran out of batteries. In the middle of playing Call of Duty or whatever, trying to smack that back on there.
Mm-hmm.
For the Xbox One, it is not that way. It's flush into the controller, and when you pull it off, it's not as easy to get to. So, I did buy the rechargeable battery for that, right?
Right.
And it sets in there nice and flush, and all you gotta do is plug it into your console to charge it via just like it's a dang PS4 controller. So in other words, this damn battery should have shipped with the damn controller. I'm just shaking my fist a little bit at Microsoft, because I think at this point, 2017, why are we using AA batteries for our damn controllers? And it was a cost-cutting measure when they still price you $60 for an Xbox One controller. I like the controller a lot more now than when I originally did. I played it a lot for Fallout. You know, I played some other games on it. I kind of like it.
Right.
Okay? But I had, trust me, when I still had to use the regular batteries, it was a notch, like a really big notch to its score for me.
Right. All right. So we're gonna go through. I won't go through the Kinect. I mean, it's a Kinect.
It's a Kinect.
You know.
Xbox 360 Kinect.
It came with a game.
Kinect Adventures. Yeah, that's the boxing game that came with like a lot of the damn Kinects.
Going through these games here. Let me totally screw my order here. This is what I received. We'll open each one. Be sure. I didn't really open them because to be honest, the deal that I got, I was like, meh.
Well, I mean, you got the system.
Yeah, for $50.
These are all extra, in my opinion.
Right. So I got Alice Madness Returns.
Really cool game to get.
Actually, I don't have Madness Returns. I have Alice in Wonderland. So this is the second one.
Is it?
I believe. I have to look and see. It might be the same one. I don't remember. It has the game. I have never played it.
And she bought that. It still has the GameStop
sticker on it for $31 if you're a Pro member and $34.99 if you are just a regular Joe. Same way with this one. Resident Evil Revelations.
Same price.
Same price.
That game originally came out on the 3DS. Game is in there. Heralded as like almost kind of a return to form.
Yes.
For Resident Evil.
Darksiders 2.
That game's pretty cheap. I think I got that game for like $2.
Guess how much it is now?
How much?
It might still be. I have to look.
I'll do it. You keep talking.
Mirror's Edge. Now,
Damn good game.
I have heard really good things about this game.
Yeah, okay. It's basically running in parkour in first person.
Right.
So if you get like motion sickness,
yeah, it's not good.
I would try it just to make sure. But
disc is in there with everything. Plus, Need for Speed Undercover.
Promotional.
So that's all in there. She did buy this from
Devil's Playground.
Yeah, Devil's Playground. Next one. She bought this one. This is Remember Me. Pre-owned price, $54.99.
Dang, that was like brand new.
New almost. So
Darksiders 4 or Darksiders 2 is currently going for $4.
$4, yeah. See, I thought it went up a little bit, but it's in there. So this is brand new. Basically, she bought it brand new. I've actually wanted to try this, but since I got rid of, that's my other roommate destroyed my Halo edition, Halo Reach edition.
When I was in Replay last time, they had the green Halo 3 console.
Yeah.
Nate used to have that, and he I think it quit working or he got rid of it.
Next one would be Far Cry 3, which I purchased the triple pack.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, surprise.
Yeah, that's what they put the disc in.
Yeah.
In their system.
I
don't know why you keep that. But. Yeah, you purchased the trilogy on PS3, but the Blood Dragon
is a download.
It's a download, and you bought it used. So
right.
Maybe what you can do is maybe try and trade that in, and then get a little bit off of, and maybe rebuy on, because I did see a Far Cry compilation in there for the 360, and it does have it on disc because that's the one I got. It has a disc for each and every game.
I might actually trade the other one in for it too, towards it. So moving on, Sleeping Dogs.
Surprising hit for me. Not the greatest game in the world by any means, but this is technically the third game in the True Crime series.
Right.
This was purchased. True Crime was originally done by, I can't remember what studio did it, but then Square ended up getting the rights to it, and then they ended up doing Sleeping Dogs. It's set in Hong Kong. It is a kind of like a GTA clone mixed with Kung Fu.
Right.
It is fun to play. And honestly, like, that's most you can say. The story is pretty decent. Dude plays like an undercover cop,
right?
Going into like like the like the mafia and all that kind of crap. But a couple of twists and turns along in the story, a little predictable, but really freaking fun to play.
Yeah, that's a good one. So this is a game I haven't played before.
Need for Speed:
The Run.
The Run.
I haven't played it yet, so that might get popped in there. It's the first game in.
Well, we'll see. You're privy, and you like the Need for Speed series, but it's kind of hit or miss for you sometimes.
It is. Well, it's hit or miss for the series.
Yes, because
I mean that's because like Rivals. I was excited for Rivals because you could be the police, and then it sucked because you play through and you get the police cars, but they suck. The police cars, you actually get better police cars than you do supercars.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. I went and got the biggest one, and hey, guess what? Now nobody can outrun me online.
Right.
So it's interesting. I would like to see it. It looks pretty cool. Diablo 3. No game.
Oh!
Which is okay, because I own Diablo 3 on PS4. So that doesn't bother me. But there is a place I haven't looked. Because that has not been powered on yet. Because I literally picked that up before the podcast.
And okay. And if there really isn't like a game in here and you're missing it, you can hold on to this. Because if you ever buy a game that doesn't have a real case,
yes,
then guess what? You've got a green case, and all you got to do is get a pretty good printer, like one I got, and print a label, and now it looks not out of place on your collection because you got a black case, and they don't release black Xbox 360 cases unless it's a special edition. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. So this is Dirt 3. She bought for $26 or $24. I'm assuming with all the purchases she made, she's a pro. Member.
One would hope.
I would hope.
They probably would try to sell her a membership at this point.
You might as well.
And a magazine and
Game is present.
Games in her.
The one that I don't really care about. NASCAR.
2011.
It's covered up, but I assume so.
Right there.
Yep, 2011. The game. Because like you wouldn't know it was the game. It is present. Yay. Something I might try it out.
Drive in a circle for a while.
Yeah. This one is in the GameStop power for the player's cover case.
Yeah,
if
they
they
didn't
do.
have a case, so they just put it in the case.
I can never pronounce his last name.
All right, Naruto. Let me see it.
I can do Naruto, but
Naruto Shippuden.
Shippuden.
Probably not the way you said it. Probably just,
Ultimate Storm. This is a fighting game. Hey, it's present.
I assume it's a fighting game.
It's Ultimate Ninja Storm
Watch-
Generations.
Watch it be a checkers game.
But surprisingly enough, there is a Skate 3 manual in here.
That's the way it usually is. GameStop's very random like that.
They don't know. The rest of these are Connect games. So we have Connect Sports, present, in really good condition actually. She paid $44.99. Whew. Whew.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Just Dance Greatest Hits, $19.99 or $17.99. At this point,
She has to be a
she
pro.
has to be a pro member. And that is present. Connect Adventures. This came with the purchase of the Connect.
Yeah.
It is there. What is this? Dance Central 2. It is present.
So I actually owned that game for a while. Caitlin
Really?
wanted it, and then she played it like twice.
This is one that I'm actually interested in checking out. This is Wipeout, In the Zone.
Because that's like that obstacle course
Right.
show on ABC. Yeah, ABC's right there.
Yeah, it's $29.99 or $26.99. It's present.
But like, what's it say on the back? Say hello to the big balls. I've got the big balls.
Check
She's
over
got
50
big
crazy
balls.
obstacles. Watch hilarious slow motion replays. Enjoy side splitting humor from the Johns and Jill. All right, and the next one is Just Dance 4, $34.
She got the moves like Jagger.
It's there. So at this point, I'm almost going to assume every disc is here. I assume Diablo 3 is in it because it is one of the newer games in this selection.
Yeah, I mean, if it isn't, is it really anything to cry about?
No. But like I said, I
as
have
you said,
the...
you already had it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Reaper edition. So, and I bought something today because I had the itch. Well, I didn't really have the itch. So
well, you were talking about going when I was there,
yeah,
and I said I'm not going to be there too much longer.
and because I was gonna try to catch you while you were there. So, I'm looking for the Vita version, which I've stated this in the last 2 podcasts, of the Sword Art Online game.
Which is not the Lost Song.
Hollow Realization.
Hollow Realization.
I would like to see the Hollow... I can't remember the last portion of that. The other one that they have out, the first one. I'd like to get that one. So...
Hollow Fragment?
Hollow Fragment, yep.
Was that it?
Yeah, it's Hollow Fragment.
I can't remember.
It is. So I was just happening to look around, and I went to the Devil's Playground just because, and got bombarded with questions the entire time I was there. I literally did not get to look in peace, which drove me out of there because I was sick and tired of him following me around.
He did that to me last time I was in there.
GameStop. I get it. You're doing your promotions. I get it. You know, that's cool. But leave me the hell alone while I'm looking at the games. If I come to the desk, you tell me this stuff. That's cool. It doesn't bother me. I understand personally. I do. But I am not at the desk. I'm looking at games. He comes over and he's like, "Hey man, let's check on your account to see if you have any coupons." I was like, "I don't." He goes, "Well, I want to check anyways." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. Maybe you'll go away." "Oh no, we got all these deals." And I turned around and looked at him and I said, "Look, I don't want any deals. I'm not looking to make any purchases or put any money down. I get from Amazon because they give you 20% off. What will you do for me?" And he's kind of looked at me. And I was like, "I know you're not going to give me 20% off. I'm not ordering from you. That's it."
Yep.
And he was like, "Okay." And then he's trying to push to me to buy other stuff. And I was like, "Look, I'm looking for 2 things. You don't have them. You do have one, but not for $27. The World of Final Fantasy on Vita. I really went on the Vita because portability.
Yep.
But I went to the replay last because I knew that GameStop would piss me off because they always do every time I go in there. And I found Star Ocean Till the End of Time, PS2. This is actually a quote-unquote director's cut. So this is a second release of the original game. And it adds the extra features. Is a 2-disc set pack. It adds 2 additional playable characters, new enemies, areas, and scenes, expanded events, music, and CG sequences. All new versus fighting mode allows you to battle head-to-head or team up against the CPU.
Scanning this into the game, I have to see if it actually comes up as anything special. I was just curious.
It doesn't. It comes up in the original.
It is original.
So on this, really the only special thing about this, other than it is, I don't know if it's 2-disc originally.
I
don't know.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Okay, here's the thing. I have this game as well, and I have it on the PS3, PS2. But I want to say mine is the greatest hits version.
Right.
And of course, the app doesn't come up with that.
Right.
So, because I think I have the same exact 2-disc thing with bonus stuff because it was the greatest hits.
So it's probably this.
Probably this version.
The third version of this.
Yeah.
The greatest hits version. So really the only significance other than it having an additional disc, which yours has it too, is that it comes in a box. And I actually got the box. It's in it.
It's always really cool to get that because you
Right.
get cool custom art.
Right. So
sometimes you get slip covers, but sometimes you get a really cool just a box.
And the funny thing about this is that if you look on the back here, it has what you would normally see on the back of the case.
Yeah.
On the back of the case, it has the main characters with the angel feathers around them.
All right. So this is the original cover, which is
the one that I have.
This, and then when they did the re-release,
this is the original cover. Or this is that cover.
No, well, this is the one that's this is the cover of the original game.
Right.
And then that is the director's cut, or the second version. And then if I type in greatest hits. Oh, Kitty not happy with a doggy. Yeah, see, that's mine.
Right.
So, yeah.
It just has the red greatest hits thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the cool thing about it. And it has the back artwork here is pretty unique. But this is a really good game. From my understanding, this is...
Dude, Star Ocean series is great.
It's a great
I just don't have enough
series.
time to play it.
You need time.
Trust me, I want to start, since now I have the first one and second one. I have both of those on PSP. I have the second one on PS1, third one on the PS2. I have the fourth one on the 360, because you can get that both on PS3 and on the 360. The PS3 one is actually, I believe it has some extra shit on it.
That would be the one I'll be getting.
Right. But you know what? I also think it's really cool to collect RPGs and JRPGs for the 360, because it's not what this system is known for, but they're there.
Right.
And then, of course, the Star Ocean 5 just came out for PS4. I believe it was last year.
Right.
And I want to say I picked that up around Taxmas. And honestly, at Taxmas, I got that, in February, and the game had not been out for a full year yet. I want to say it came out in June of 2016. And I paid $20 for it. Brand new.
So, it's a good, decent. I had a really good week this week.
You did, man.
I found some really
Congratulations. You were I've had the blessing of some collecting luck over the years, and I'm glad that it has shined upon you here lately as well with some of these great deals that you got. And it's also cool for the podcast, because that means while I'm not buying, you're getting some cool deals.
And the great thing about it is that so far, at least the last couple of pickups that I've had have all been really good deals, like large bundles.
Doggy's nibbling.
Yeah,
he's nibbling. He's such a cutie patootie. He's a big sweetie.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's a big baby.
Yeah.
You can probably see his head. Yeah,
Maybe. We're trying to talk about video games, Padfoot.
So yeah, that's my pickups for the week. And if I don't,
humans are not chew toys.
If I don't have any pickups the next time, I'm not mad, because
because
great.
you gotta. Well, for example, I would get some big bundles, the NES ones and stuff like that, and then I wouldn't get anything for a little while,
Right. So I've had a nice steady flow. My next purchase, and I actually am talking to the lady, is about getting some more PSPs to hack. What are you doing?
He is biting me.
Well, he's gonna keep biting you if you keep playing with him.
I'm not playing with him. He's just like trying
Just
to pull
leave
me.
him alone.
He's like Wyatt going down, 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 and I'm like, you want me to get down? Okay.
Just leave him alone and he'll go away.
Leave me
Here,
alone.
go
Look
lay
at him.
down.
Look at him. I can connect the dots.
Yeah, I know.
He's not biting hard, guys.
No.
He's just playing. He wants
He's
to
a
play.
puppy.
He's a big old sweetie puppy wanting to play. But we're trying to talk about video games, and he's like, I don't want you to do it. I want you to roll around and play with me.
Yeah.
But we got some news, and
Not much.
Not much. No, we don't. We're gonna touch on the Sega thing last because we talked about that just 2 episodes ago, I think,
Yes.
with that new Sega system. Of course, now it actually went out to reviewers, and it ain't doing so hot. But
We'll discuss that in a moment.
yeah, we will. Okay, so I want to update on the BioWare situation because I've been covering that myself. Will you load the article? So to catch up, Mass Effect has been put on ice.
Quote unquote.
Then they said that BioWare Montreal has been sort of like minimized, maybe disbanded. And then they released email to certain people who played Mass Effect Andromeda, and they big old survey questionnaire, and they wanted to know your honest opinions of Andromeda. They asked a lot of questions. I didn't get one.
I need to look and see if I got one.
If you were like, signed in with the BioWare or the whole EA thing, you might have got one. I didn't get one. So like it's like since they want to know the feedback, it's like you made people question it. So is this on ice? Are we going to see something else? Is this the end for Andromeda for now? What is it? Because if they're asking about it, that means that they want to learn from it.
Right.
So what does that usually mean? They gonna make another one.
They're gonna go forward.
And so we don't know yet. Of course, we talked about Casey Hudson taking over as the head of BioWare entirely, and he's the guy who directed KOTOR, and he directed the Mass Effect trilogy. So this is a guy who has some games under his belt.
Some triple A
big time games. So now it's official. Now I guess EA announced that BioWare Montreal was moving into the same building with another EA studio called Motive Studios. And I don't really know off the top of my head exactly what Motive has worked on, so please bear with me for that. However, they have come out and went ahead and said it. EA merges BioWare Montreal with Motive. So BioWare is now just going to be, I want to say, the Edmonton group, the main group, and then the Austin, Texas group, which I believe they work on Tor, Star Wars The Old Republic, MMO, which is still going, by the way. Which, okay. As a side note, there's a guy. He left BioWare. His name is Drew Karpyshyn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He has written several Star Wars novels. He wrote Mass Effect 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And then he came back to work on Star Wars The Old Republic, and he wrote a couple of... He didn't write the whole game because you have so many different characters and they have different storylines.
Right.
So he I don't know if he just did one or a couple different of the character storylines. It's like, I'm not saying that they should bring him back,
but
they should bring him back and they should do
bring him
another
back.
Mass Effect game with him. I mean, he wrote Mass Effect 1 and 2, and then he wrote all but one novel for Mass Effect.
Right.
He understands the story of Mass Effect. So for anybody who had a problem with Andromeda's story, this dude knows it. Now, granted, okay, Andromeda was written also by the guy that kind of took a spot.
Right.
And he wrote 2 with Drew,
Mm-hmm.
and then he wrote 3 with somebody else, and then he wrote Andromeda. So I didn't think there was much wrong with the story in Andromeda. Andromeda was a fault of a lot of things. Story, not really one of them. It wasn't great, but then again...
It's slow.
I wasn't. Yeah, it is a bit slow, but I honestly think that the story is slow in that game due to the actual game design and not the story itself.
A lot of it is that it's a new. I kind of understand where the story is slow because it's a new world, a new solar system.
Yeah, it's a whole new.
You're talking like everything's new, but I think that what really hurt the game, in my opinion, is that it's new. But I didn't have that feeling of like, oh, wow, this is new. It was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Like, they didn't have any, like, breathtaking moments to start out. Like, that's what you need is breathtaking moments to see that I want to know where this is going factor. Like, the first 30 minutes of the game, whenever you open up the first vault, that's cool. But after that, it's just been like, I'm on a planet. It's a desert. Move through it. Oh, I'm on a jungle planet. Go kill this. Go through. It just doesn't have that, oh my God factor.
It does get that later on. It gets better. It does get better.
I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm just saying that a lot of, to get that hitch, that hook in people's mouth of like, you're a massive Mass Effect fan. You're gonna play it all the way through, regardless if it sucks or not.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
But for me, I like Mass Effect 3, but I haven't played 1, 2, and 3.
You need to.
I need to, but
badly.
Those
and hey,
what?
Do you have them on PS3?
No.
Guess what?
They're going. Oh, I'm putting them on the Xbox.
Okay.
That's where they would go.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I haven't purchased them.
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
And it's going to be all three. I'll probably get the. Did they release a bundle?
They did, but just note that the 360 version you get no DLC. The PS3 version you do get DLC, but the PS3 version has its own downsides.
I'll look and see if the Xbox 360's released the like collector's editions of each one that have all of it on the disc.
They don't.
They don't.
No.
I don't want to download those.
The DLCs for there's only 2 for Mass Effect 1, and there's only one that matters. Bring Down the Sky, it's awesome DLC. DLC for 2 is some of the best DLC you'll play in any game, bar none. Like even like when I think about like DLC that's released now, like I haven't played the Fallout 4 DLC, and I heard that's amazing, but
because we're waiting for something specific.
Bethesda,
move it.
He's talking about a game of the year with the DLC on the disc.
Yeah.
The Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC is the added touch of love for the first game that you needed, especially if you romanced Liara in 1, because that when you meet Liara in 2, she's busy, she's doing her own thing. The Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC brings her back into the foreground of the story.
Right.
And you help her out and do this story, and it changes her character a lot.
Huh.
And it ends up changing a lot of things, especially if you romanced her, and even if you romanced her and decide to romance somebody else, or you can even continue your romance with her after that. So therefore, like that Project Overlord, that one gets me every time. Okay. Small deviation. Project Overlord. They're trying to merge a human mind with AI. They're basically trying to make the human mind and like the Geth consensus. And the dude, the candidate that Cerberus, that this cell chose for it, this guy chose his brother, and he was he has special needs. Autistic. And he was very good with numbers. He's like a savant. And that's why he was chosen.
Right.
Because you'd have to dissect that a large amount of data at a time, and he could do it really fast. But once he got hooked in, he went insane, and he freaked out. And then the whole facility, he takes over the facility. They have to shut him down as far as the outside connection, because if he gets out and gets into the extranet,
right,
he hacks everything, and he is scared. And he's basically become like this, inserted mental human AI kind of thing.
Right.
And then when you shut it down, you need to go save him. You decide what to do with him, and the guy's like, "Leave him with me. He's my brother." And it's like, you did this to him.
Right.
And then you can decide what to do. You give him back to Cerberus, or give him to the Alliance, because they have a school for people who are gifted, people who need special attention, and then of course with everything this kid's gone through.
Right.
And like it ends like because the kid is always talking like the square root of this number is this number is this number is this number is this number. And he just keeps saying that over and over again, even when before he gets hooked up. And like he says it, and then his brother answers it for him in like this very somber tone, right?
Right.
And then if you send him to the Grissom Academy in Mass Effect 3, you go to the Grissom Academy.
Right.
Guess who you can run into? That kid. And he's protecting a bunch of students using this force field from Cerberus. And like they're scared, they won't let you in. And they're like, no, we're not letting you in. He's like, we're here to help you. We don't trust you. How can we trust you? And that kid's like, the square root of something is, and then you can answer it. And then he like looks and is like, he recognizes you.
Right.
And that blend together is just like, oh.
Right.
I love it. And so that's why I told you that long story, and I told you that story because I feel like the DLC is important. So
Right.
what I would do, I would try Mass Effect 2 on PS3. Gives you Lair of the Shadow Broker, and I don't know if it gives you if it gives you Overlord. It may or may not because it didn't give you everything. Mass Effect 3 on PS3 is the bare bones release, no DLC. Mass Effect 1 on PS3 gives you Bring Down the Sky on disc.
Right.
So Mass Effect 3, so the Mass Effect trilogy on PS3, you're getting more bang for your buck.
Right.
But if you find these individually on the 360 for cheap, in which you should be able to buy all three of them for under $10. Okay.
Yeah.
So then you go online on the Xbox Marketplace and see how much the DLC is for everything. Okay. And that's where you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to add it up and decide whether or not or you're going to buy this.
Right.
Because as for the Mass Effect experience, for the most part, Mass Effect 2's DLC, highly, highly recommended. Mass Effect 3 DLC, the Citadel's highly recommended. Everything else,
It's kind of like the swan song at the end.
no. Citadel is the last thing the main team worked on.
Right.
That hits the nerve. That hits buttons with me as a diehard fan. The other two, which were Leviathan and Omega, they're fun to play. Leviathan adds a little bit to the mythos and to the lore. You don't really need it. Basically, if you're already in the boat and you're like, I'm buying everything, get it.
Right.
But if you're gonna start playing them and you're like, I just want to get what I need to have like the most epic experience that Brandon told me that I needed.
Right.
Get Citadel, get your extended cut, and cut it. But what I want to do is when we start streaming, is to be able to play them with you.
So why don't we do that?
It's because I have I have all the DLC, so we can just use we can just use my system.
Right.
And I already have all the DLC installed. And so like you necessarily wouldn't have to buy them until like
For collection purposes.
you wouldn't have to buy them necessarily. Well, like you would buy the games if you ever wanted to replay them, of course. But then like for like the DLC and everything, like you wouldn't have to buy it until you were really ready to buy it, or they get ready to shut down the marketplace on 360. And you're like, I need to buy this now because
Right.
or until we get a Mass Effect trilogy re-release, which I'm still hopeful for. Hopeful, but probably not going to happen. We're going to move on here. Dragon Quest XI
That is amazing.
sold 2 million copies in 2 days in Japan. That is insane numbers for Japan. Crazy.
Yeah, that's like what their normal sales are over the course of a year to 6 months.
Yeah, of course, this game is coming out here.
Right.
And I want to say it's coming out next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact date. Maybe it's in here, but apparently, okay. So this game got released on both the PS4 and the 3DS, and I think we talked about it here. If you get the PS4, you get this nice, shiny, brand new Dragon Quest RPG experience. The 3DS gives you a scaled down version of that,
Right.
and then you can also switch it to retro graphics, so it looks like 8-bit,
Huh.
which is badass.
That's pretty cool.
When you can switch them. I don't know if you can switch them on the fly like you can the Halo. I don't know if you ever played it, but for the Halo remasters that they had for the first one, and then on the Xbox One they have the Master Chief Collection that has the remaster, Xbox One remaster for Halo 2.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing the game, you can hit it one button, and it will change the graphics from the new graphics to the old graphics. So you can You can do it on the fly while you're playing the game.
Just to look and see the comparison.
It is crazy. It is crazy that you can actually do that. I've never seen anything like.
It's cool, but I believe it's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary, but I like that they gave you the option if you were like, I want to play this as it was intended, and not as it was like re-released. I think even if you play it with the old graphics, all the cutscenes are redone.
Right.
But this was released, as I said, on 3DS and PS4. The 3DS picked up over half the sales at 1,130,468 copies sold at retail, while 950,338 copies were sold for the PS4. Comparatively, Breath of the Wild only sold 230,000 units. 230,981 units for the first 3 days on both Wii U and Nintendo Switch. Even after its
Japan?
in Japan. After the first 28 days, the launch title had only moved 1.3 million units in North America. Now, that's still a great number.
It is.
I mean, of course, that game is selling fantastic. Of course, it does say sometime next year, which we don't have a hard date for that yet. And then, of course, we don't know if we're going to get. I don't know if we're going to get like the special slime controller that they're releasing. If anybody has seen the special slime controllers, they did the same thing for the PS2, maybe for the PS3, where basically, like, that's like the controller looks like that, right? All right. Well, I'm not going to load that up. Maybe I'll just wait. Hold on. No. Stop. Okay. Here. All right. So we got pictures here. Yeah, that's the controller.
What?
It's a novelty controller. The slime is a classic Dragon Quest enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very basic enemy you fight early on. And it's this really goofy looking thing. And it has a base. And you turn it over, and it's a controller, and it even has a touchpad. It has all your buttons, your sticks. And it's really like this massive blob to hold. Don't know how much I would like it.
I can tell I would hate it.
But it's still cool. It's a cool little collector's piece.
Yeah, definitely for if you are a big fan of Dragon Quest, I would definitely say pick it up. But for me, I'm not picking that up to try to block around that thing.
Yeah, no, you still
Here,
need...
let me bring my controller that's
Right.
the size of a base or a basketball.
All right, so I brought this for a reason. I brought this game.
Can't see it.
Well, I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
So, a few episodes ago, we talked about the new Sega Genesis Flashback console made by Addicts coming out in September, and it is rivaling with the new Super Nintendo Classic.
Right.
Okay. Which pre-orders finally open up this month.
Yes.
For that. We don't know when yet, but it will soon. So,
Don't sleep when you
we talked about all the games that were on that Flashback console, and it had cart support, output 720p, has wireless controllers, plus the original ports. Seems like this is like best deal that you can find, right? Well, apparently it's pretty cheap because it doesn't correctly and accurately emulate the Genesis hardware. So therefore, on faster games, you get frame skips.
Yeah.
So Sonic is blown for its like blast processing, and
yeah,
if it's frame skipping, it's not doing you any good. For fighters, that sucks. RPGs where you're not moving a lot, you're not gonna
notice.
You're not gonna have a big deal. But if it's not accurately emulating the hardware, why bother getting this damn thing?
Exactly.
You know, essentially, this is just a souped-up version of what we already got. Those pieces of crap. And it's not any better. Now, Sega didn't make that. Addicts made it. Sega licensed it out. Addicts picked it up. And so Addicts is making money off this. Sega's making some money off of it, too. And it's just very disappointing because Nintendo set the bar for quality on that, right?
Yes.
Now, with the NES Classic, which unfortunately is hard to find, and because they quit making the damn thing, and then, of course, the SNES Classic, which is coming out, very hyped. So, why did I bring this? This is the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PS3. You can also get this on the 360.
Right.
So, what is this? This is a collection of Genesis games.
How many?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
and you could probably you could find this probably for under $20. I'm gonna wager.
Oh yeah, way under.
I got this for free a couple of years ago now. Meyer was doing maybe it wasn't exactly free, maybe it was like less than $10. I was at Black Friday at Meyer with our good friend Silent Rob, and I bought DuckTales. It was free because it was like buy one get two free or something like that. And so
Wish they had those sales again.
in the bin were a bunch of games. One of them I found, I'm like, oh, I gotta get this. It was the DuckTales remastered for the Wii U.
Right.
And then I picked up 2 games for free, and this was one of them. Now, the list of games is inside here. I counted them before I packed it up today. I was just curious. This game has 49 games in it, which is a little bit more than what the new Genesis has in it.
Right.
And it also has 9 Master System games in it as well. They have to be unlocked.
The Master System ones.
Yes, they have to be unlocked. So, I'm going to read you
From
list.
the top.
From the top, we're going to read you these games. And I'm going to do the Genesis games first, okay? You have Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle, Alien Storm, Altered Beast, Beyond Oasis, Bonanza Bros, Columns, Comic Zone, Decap Attack, starring Chuck D. Head.
D-Head.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Dynamite, Hetty, Echo the Dolphin,
Yeah.
Echo the Tides of Time, E-SWAT, Fatal Labyrinth, Flicky, Gain Ground, Golden Axe, 1, 2, and 3, Kid Chameleon, Phantasy Star 2, Phantasy Star 3, Phantasy Star 4, Rice Star, Shining Force 1 and 2, Shining in the Darkness, which is probably in that same series,
Yes.
Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Masters. Are these games starting to sound familiar?
Hmm.
A lot of these are on the new Genesis.
Yes.
Sonic 3, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, Super Thunder Battle, Vector Man, and Vector Man 2.
Ones that are missing from this off the top of my head is no Mortal Kombat.
Well, Mortal Kombat was made by Midway,
Yes.
and so that was a deal that the At Games had struck with the people who had the license for Mortal Kombat.
But I'm saying the difference here.
Yeah, that is
Well,
the difference.
there's a more difference.
These are Sega owned.
These
titles.
are
these
these
just
are
Sega.
the hits.
These are exclusives to Sega.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to the Master System. You have Golden Axe Warrior. That is the Legend of Zelda clone for the Master System, by the way. The original Phantasy Star. So you have all 4 Phantasy Stars on this. You have to unlock the first Phantasy Star. Alien Syndrome. Altered Beast, Master System version. Congo Bongo, Fantasy Zone, Shinobi, Space Harrier, and Zaxxon. So what am I saying here, folks? If you have a PS3 or a 360, okay?
I'm using your phone.
Okay, this outputs in 720p. It has enhanced HD graphics, unlockable content, of course, those Master System games. Mega multiplayer fun. I don't know if it's online. It doesn't say that anywhere on here, so I would assume it's not. It normally says online play here on the back. But, wait, that's what you're looking at.
The Genesis collection.
Oh, search. You are actually in my collections.
I know, that's what I want.
Oh, okay. So search Sonics.
Oops.
Yeah, there's no 9 in Sonics.
Mega collection for
At the bottom. $10.
$10.
$10. You can get this for $10. For $10, you can get almost all the games that are on that crappy ass Genesis system.
Oops.
And as long as you have a PS3, as I said,
Yep.
or a
Or that
360,
360.
you can get them on both.
Yep.
Here it is,
Right there.
right here.
Black and white. Not junk.
No,
Not
it isn't.
crap.
And that's the reason why I wanted to bring it, because I remember we got hyped about that, and then when I saw the review, I was really bummed, and I'm like, you know what? I remember getting that, and I remember putting this in and just testing it out. I didn't really dive into it, right? Because the main reason why I got this was because it had all the Fantasy Stars, and
Right.
being a collector, I want them on Genesis, of course, and of course I don't have a Master System, so I couldn't play the first one, and I'm like, I want to play those and collect those one day. They're like Sega RPGs. They're really good RPGs. And I'm just like, I can get them on here and play them whenever I want on the PS3.
Yep.
So I got it, and I got it for that reason. And then I just, today I'm like, I want to bring this and talk about this, and then I double check the games, and I'm like, wow, because
They're almost the same.
Yeah, they're almost the same.
But they don't have a lot of the crap.
There is no crap. There is no there are none of those crappy ass rip-off games.
Oh, by the way, this copy doesn't have any frame rate issues.
Probably not. Well, because it's software emulated on a disc by Sega, so
It plays as it should.
it more than likely does.
Only a few titles that I would want on there to make it perfect. Zombies, Eat My Neighbors.
Yeah, but that's
and
Konami.
Mutant League Football.
Yeah, I don't know who owns that.
I don't either.
But yeah, that's all just the Sega-owned properties that they could put on there. And if, as you said, you're missing your Mortal Kombats that are on that other one. That's fine. I don't really care. But you also bitched about. I say that, and I don't really mean that in a mean way. But you complained that there was no Echo the Dolphin on that. And
I did.
There you go.
I mean, Echo the Dolphin is
The Dolphin.
The Dolphin.
Echo
Is-
the Dolphin.
Dolphin.
What? I don't know why I keep going into accents and just trying to.
Sega. That is a.
Sorry if I offended anybody with my accent.
Echo the Dolphin is a Sega classic. I mean, I want to say it was one of the first small section of one of the first release for that system.
What was? I'm sorry.
Echo.
Like a launch title for the Genesis?
No, not launch, but within that first early.
Well, I know that Echo
No, it
was
wasn't a
pretty.
launch. I know it was. I don't think it was a launch.
You know what? Before we end the show here,
Let's find out.
we
You've
are
got
all
your
about.
phone. I don't have your phone.
Well,
I don't have my phone.
Well, yeah, you don't have my phone.
I know.
Sega, we're like Genesis launch. I mean, we're always about this looking up right
On the fly.
Sega Genesis launch.
Because one of us can't remember hardly anything. I don't know who that is. No, it's not me. It's Padfoot.
Yeah, no, Pat can't remember anything.
Padfoot.
He can't remember to stay away while we're doing the show.
Yeah.
He's trying to chew on me. He's like, nom 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 nom. I'm like, get away from me, doggy. He's like, no. That is not okay. That's the PlayStation.
Why?
I don't know. I typed in Sega Genesis launch titles. Maybe if I go down here.
That's the master drive you clicked on.
There you go. Here we go. U.S. launch title. It launched with Altered Beast, Last Battle, Space Harrier, Thunder Battle, Super Thunder Blade. My bad. Thunder Force 2 and Tommy Lasorda Baseball. So let's look up
Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin.
Release date.
We'll go to the Wikipedia for that.
Good old Wikipedia.
It was released in 92, so I want to say the Genesis came out in 88, 89.
Oh, so it's a mid mid title.
Right about the mid, yeah. I mean, it's still using the old version of the box art.
See, that's what gets you is that old box art.
Yeah, and because it was sometime in the early 90s they switched to the red, the red and then the red and black one, and then they switched from the clamshells to just the cardboard.
Yeah.
At some point, but
that was still a clamshell.
Yes.
Echo was.
Yes. Yes. That because it was it was just that black case with the grid. Don't drop it.
You snapped it.
It was open.
But yeah.
I would really recommend picking this up.
That's your recommendation?
Yes. This is my recommendation for the day is the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection because I recommend it so that way you don't go out and spend $80 on that damn
Yes.
Genesis.
Save your money.
Go out and spend $10 on this if you already have one of those systems. If you don't have one of those systems, Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
That has a lot of them on there. The Wii Virtual Console ended up being very massive. It has Master System and Genesis.
So I might be repeating mine, but as we've talked about, I've been replaying 9.
Final Fantasy 9.
Final Fantasy 9.
You've been raving about Final Fantasy 9.
Every time I start it, I'm just like, I gotta finish it, and then something happens, and I don't finish it. This time,
You got to.
I save it every 10 minutes. Literally every 10 minutes I save it because I'm not losing
Well, what's funny, okay, is that like
10, 20 hours.
and I've said this before, I have such a nostalgia for FF7 that I feel like that overclouds 9 in my mind.
The more I play 9, it's so all these games. Let's just start from the beginning. So Final Fantasy, they all have their flaws. There are very few that you can say the engine is perfect. Everything about the game is perfect. Excluding, in my opinion, 9.
The only thing that I would tweak about 9 would be that the ATB like battle system they use for that is just a tad bit slow.
Yes.
It seems like even when it's on its fastest, you're sitting there waiting longer than what you should.
Yeah, when you're hasted and
when you're hasted, it's not as bad, but like when you're just regular, like just grinding, feels like it takes forever. Once you've been playing it for a while, you get used to it.
yeah.
But once you go back into it, you're like, this is so slow.
See, I noticed it, but I remember it being slow, so it didn't bother me too much.
Well,
It's not like they're getting 5 or 6 attacks on you. It's
No.
It's just a slow combat.
Yeah, like no, it's not like you're just slow. It's like you said, it's the whole combat is slow.
Yeah, the whole combat
But
is slow.
nine really did. They put out all the stops for that game.
I like that every time you do a fight, it shows the environment you're in a 360 loop. You do a loop around where you're at, and then it phases in the characters. It does kill a lot of time, but it's cool to see where you're at. And it's actually where you are, not like exactly where you are, but if you're on the ship, it shows a ship fight.
I think you can kind of turn that cinematic stuff off.
You
the camera
can,
stuff
but
off.
I'm not turning it off.
Because I want to say they started that with FF8, where if you had more camera movement, it did more stuff going into the battle, and then when you casted spells, it did more camera movement to make it a little more.
Yes,
epic
I
looking.
love that. But I believe that it is the swan song of the PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
No doubt.
It is PS2 mid-level, like mid-time graphics, in my opinion. Like the cinematics on it.
Cinematics look really good. Like the regular graphics do look dated. They still hold up.
They still
Maybe
hold
they're
up.
not mid-level PS2, but like at one point they were gonna make
No,
a
the
PS.
CGI.
Oh, well, CGI looks
is
damn good.
Mid-level PS2.
Like normal graphics.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. At one point they talked about making a PS2 remastered version for it, and they just dropped it. I think they need to do a remastered version of 9. Like
Just a remaster.
Yes. No. Don't do like a full hard remake of it. But just do a remaster.
It would be cool to remake it, like kind of reimagine it like they are doing with 7. TikTok on that, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna take forever. We're gonna be at episode 300 by the time that game comes out.
Yeah, but what I hope that if 7 does good, they go back and do 9, because 9 is very underrated, because it's the end of the lifespan of the PlayStation, and PS2 was coming out, and then 10 came out, and it's like people skip it, but it's amazing.
For me, I kind of wish that because 9 was like an amalgamation of what was good for the of your first early Final Fantasies, that they don't reimagine it, because like that's what it was supposed to be.
Well, okay, so maybe not reimagine it, but I want them to take the story. I want them to take what they have and make it to where like
I'll tell you what I want.
upgrade the graphics and upgrade the person walking around.
I want
the world.
I want updated graphics, and I don't even care about that. About the like just running around the world map. I think that's cool and nostalgic. I want upgraded graphics, and I want some voice acting.
Yes.
And then that's it.
Because if you watch it, sometimes they talk, but it doesn't. There's nothing there. But they didn't really have that.
Well,
PlayStation.
Well, they had like if you watch. I mean, play Metal Gear Solid and tell me they don't have awesome voiceovers. But with the game like the Final Fantasies on that era, there's just so much. There's no way they could do it and fit it on there.
Because 9 is massive.
Yes.
I mean, it is huge game, but it is.
It burned out PS1s.
That was a PS1 killer, right?
It was. It definitely was. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today here on the Game Addicts podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. And of course, if this is your first time, and if you just haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We're on podcast services all over the place. We're on iTunes, Podbean. We are on Stitcher Radio and Google Play Music. We're also on YouTube. You can go and watch us and check us out with me, like when we unbox new stuff or check out our collections, and we just have them sitting here, and you can see that we're not just sitting here fiddling around with empty cases. We actually own this stuff.
Sometimes I do.
Well, yeah, with
Diablo
3, we do have empty case, but yeah, dude, go and check us out on all that stuff. You can check us out on Game Addicts Play on Twitter. I'm pretty active on there as far as sharing the show. And wait, hold on, did you just like shake your head?
No, I shook my head because I'm not.
Yeah, no, you're not. Of course, we're on Facebook. We try to be as active as we can. We're on Instagram. Check us out there. Game Addicts Play on all those, or Game Addicts Podcast. You'll find us. Just type in one of those. And then also, if you check out, I want to say that if you check out like the description for like the show, a lot of those links should already be down there. So
right.
Instead of going out and searching it for yourself, I did all the work for you. All you got to do is click, and it takes you right there.
That's awesome.
So with that being said, we had our recommendations, and I don't think we have anything else.
I don't.
All right, man. Well, until next time, I'm Brando.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you later.